We are back with another Black with No Cream podcast. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, a.k.a. Ben Real Verse World. And this is David Malave over here on
Hey, how we doing?
On my left, your right. We are the Morning Roast Kings.
The Morning Roast Kings.
That's our new name. So now you know. Today's podcast episode is about some shit I need to get off my chest, but we're going to call the subject of it is you're missing opportunities. Okay? Right?
Yes.
So you are missing opportunities, and we're going to tell you which opportunities you're missing and why, and give a great example right after this fucking beautiful intro that we're going to play for you right motherfucking now. Welcome to the Morning Roast, a place where you will get the most info from a deep dive into the topics that really need life with your host, Ben and Dave, coming to you live today. Grab your cup of joe and take some fucking notes, you bitch. Yeah, missing opportunities. You are missing opportunities. You may have a lot of opportunities at your plate, and it's hard to eat everything that's on your plate. I know my mom used to tell me to eat all the vegetables. I couldn't always because I ate everything else but that part, and it wasn't that good. And sometimes you don't understand what shit that isn't that good looking or smelling can do for your career.
Ooh, we just hit a metaphor.
You like that?
Yeah.
So before we get into this, I wanted to tell you guys about something new we're going to try. We're going to call it the question of the day, and we're going to our people in our Discord, our Patreon members, they're talking a lot in there, and we're seeing a bunch of good questions being asked and answered. So we're going to pick a couple of the questions every now and then after every episode and kind of go in on those for a little bit. What's the question of today?
Today, we're going to talk about a question that RMT Shoots asked in our business Discord channel. And he asked, when would you send a daily rate for editing versus an hourly rate? Reason I ask is some corporate clients, blah, blah, blah. So it just goes into discussion about hourly rates or day rates for editing. Cool. So we'll get into that. And then also another thing that we're going to start doing, because I think this is crucial. I realized that on iTunes and in our YouTube, the comments, it's a great tool to let future listeners understand what this podcast is about. And I feel like our listeners, if you're listening right now, shout out to you for being fucking here with us every week. We appreciate you. And I've gotten so many messages from you about how much this podcast means to you and how it's helping you. And I'm glad. And that's the whole fucking point of this. But I hope that other creators can learn about this as well. So what we're going to start doing is encouraging you to leave your review about the episodes in the comments in YouTube comments or going to iTunes, right? And how we'll reward you, which I don't feel like we should because we're giving you this podcast, but you know, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to send out some sticker packs. So we have Black with No Cream stickers. You can't even buy those in the store anymore. I took them off there a while back. But we're going to start sending out stickers to the best iTunes review and the best YouTube comments that we get on each episode. So if you're listening to this episode right now, we want to see you comment about what this episode meant to you, your takeaways, anything that you can give to a future listener who might stumble upon it and be like, man, should I listen to this 30-minute episode? And they see your comment and it changes everything for them. So that's it. That's what we're going to do. We'll start off today. We have two winners, if you want to call them winners, but solid ass reviews that we'll read at the end of the episode as well. So anyway, this episode, you're missing opportunities. So say what you got to get off your chest, bro. Thanks, Ben. Someone said the other day that they listened to the podcast and they thought that they got on one where I was being anti. Right. Yeah. Which, sorry. And that's why I walked in this morning and I was like, that's kind of the sentiment. I was like, you know what? Let's do something fun today. He did. He said, let's do a fun, like, non-shit talking. And I was like, oh, no, I want to talk shit. But this is my reason, all right? So we just ran 3 amazing contests for Black with No Cream. The winners are all incredible. The content that came out of it is fucking fire. There's so many submissions. Creators from all over the U.S. got to take advantage of this contest and compete, right? It was cool, but it was a learning experience for us, Dave and I, like, trying to figure out how to run contests because Black with No Cream really hasn't done that before. And so we had a contest with a thick budget. Shout out to Dutch Bros, that we were able to not only just like create a contest that people could compete in, but we also sent out gear. Each contest, Dutch Bros sent out like thousands of dollars worth of their fucking coffee, their mugs, like their merch. So it was really dope. But
And so the contest overall was a fucking hit. It was really fire. And I'll talk about that. And I've talked about it previously. Like the content we got was sick. But I want to talk about a small percentage of people that I think slept on an opportunity. And there's like, I was just at this event the other day and I was discussing it with the Black Window Cream member that came to the event because he heard I was going to be there. And we chat for a while, and it was cool being able to talk to this person because I think his name was Jason. Shout out to you. I'm pretty sure that's your name. We were talking about how he's entering the contest, competing them. He loves it. It's pushing him. He hasn't won yet, but he's like, it's helping him, right? He's learning. And I was talking about how interesting it was how many people received the product, right, to compete in the contest, and then didn't submit. There was like this odd small percentage from each contest that I feel like just got ahead of themselves, signed up, and they were excited, and then just didn't enter. And it was so interesting to us because we sat through tons of submissions. We watched how many, like hundreds of fucking videos and photos that we would look through for these competitions, and some were okay, some weren't great, but regardless, like there was people that were entering, and that was cool. But there was people that just took someone's spot. Like we have thousands of members, right? And we'd open this up and we'd say 150 people can compete in this contest, or 300 people, however many people we opened it up to that Dutch Bros allowed us to. And then that shit would sell out, quote unquote. It would fill up, and then 300 spots were taken immediately. And the problem with that, it was dope. And then all of a sudden you'd see like 200 submissions come in, and I'm like, well, wait, what the fuck? Where's the other 100 people?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it'd be like last minute. So then we started having to work more on the side of like, maybe people are forgetting that the date's coming up. Like, are we not marketing well enough? But like when you sign up, the 3 steps to compete are right there. Enter your info, you'll get this thing, submit your product by this date. So it can't be any easier to understand what this shit's do. But people weren't submitting. And I was so confused by it because I'm like, that's mad rude, right? To me, for you to waste our time, waste Dutch Bros money. They're giving out cool products and all this stuff. So all right. Some people found it as like a loophole to like get a free mug or some shit, and just like, oh, cool. I don't have to, like, they don't care if I don't compete, or they're not gonna charge me. Which we could have made it harder. We could have made it like, oh, put a credit card down. If you don't compete, we're gonna charge you. Like, but that's fucking crazy.
Right.
Like, just compete. Like, we're giving you an opportunity. And so we saw that happen in each contest, which was interesting. Also, as the contest progressed, I think I saw more people get kind of nervous to compete. Like they saw who would win the other competition and thought maybe they didn't stand a chance. And the reason why this is titled "You're Missing Opportunities" is because what you said something dope earlier, like before we started this. You're like about the doors. We had a better title, but it was too long.
Basically, it's the idea of like someone's opening a door for you, right? And the door's open, you're not walking through it. You're like, you're denying the door, and you're just like walking along, and you're like, oh yeah, fuck it, another door will open. You know what I mean? And you can't take those doors for granted. So that's like a metaphor for what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think in this context, it's like, you know, someone's literally handing you an opportunity that you wouldn't have on your own, and saying, hey, submit something and you have a chance to put yourself in front of this brand, to get paid, to have an opportunity that you would like to have.
Right.
And you like walked up to the door, you got the mug, and then you're just like, nah.
Yeah, I'm busy. Oh, I'm busy.
I got busy.
I work too much. It was interesting how some people would submit they would send me messages like, hey, sorry, I fucked up. I couldn't enter. Like, some people even offered to pay for the product. Like, hey, I'm so sorry I couldn't enter. Like, I had a car accident. This happened. Like some real life scenario shit. And I'm like, oh, bet. Like, it's all good. Like, you can keep it. But like, I thank you for at least apologizing. That was cool. But there were so many people I just didn't submit, and it was interesting to me to think like, I think people looked at it like, if I don't win first place and get the top prize, because we didn't even say that we were giving second and third place like prizes. Like the first contest for sure we gave cash to the people that didn't win or something like that, and we didn't have to. That was Dutch Bros did it on top of it. And then what I've noticed is Dutch Bros being very into this contest and willing to find and help creators, that they've gone above and beyond. And what people don't understand or don't think about is that Dutch Bros has literally gone on to hire several Black Window Cream members who entered the contest but didn't get in the first top 3. Like, I know for a fucking fact they've spent thousands of dollars paying creators to not to compete, to work for them. They'd send them like a mug or whatever, and like say, hey, go shoot this shit. And they've done, like, they even did one job with one client that was like, or one creator that was like around $7,000 or some shit like that. Like, they're literally spending money like that on Black Window Cream members, and everyone that didn't compete or that just took it as like it's a competition. It's like, you don't understand that just opened up your door to $1 billion company, the opportunity. And I told this to the kid at that event, like, you don't realize it, but you didn't win, but you won because you competed, and you're now on a list. You're on a list and to a client that is so big that could put a lot of money in your pocket down the road. If they follow, like, you don't know if Gavin's following everyone in the contest, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't just follow the winners, but he's following everyone. And what happens if
he's following people who made an impression? Yeah. And you make an impression by putting a shot out there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You don't make an impression by not submitting.
Right.
And yeah, I feel like running these contests has been really interesting, because I'll tell Ben all the time, like, you know, with art especially, but especially with the contest, and we even more with video, which is why I think we went video only, because I feel like people kind of just, like, photo almost became like I'll just submit photos, and like they just took some photos and sent it, right, which is just cool. But like, there's this psychology you have to get over of people being embarrassed or people being scared of, oh no, I'm not good enough because that guy's video was crazy and I'm not near that, so I shouldn't compete because it's worthless.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like, we struggle with that because like you said, like, are we not marketing good enough, or should we like be promoting the deadline? But then again, we sit back and we're like, nah, because if you want this, like, the people who want it and won, like,
it was on
we
them.
don't need to remind them to submit because they want it bad enough,
right? And
it paid off for them, you know. And this isn't just like with all this shit. Like, if you just get your work in front of someone, you don't have to be the one they select. You don't have to be, because now you're in a Rolodex. Now they were like, oh man, you know what? That guy that did the stop motion, like, that was actually really tight. We have this idea, like, let's go hit up that person.
Right, exactly.
And that person may have got 5th, but now that free video that he, like, literally got a mug or whatever it took for them to shoot the video.
Right.
Now they just landed a job from it. And so,
and that happened multiple times. It's just, there's no way for us to publicize that this is happening nonstop throughout the contest, because we're talking about so many different things, and people are just like, they just assume that you can only win one thing and that there's no other good comes out of it. But a lot of people entered and they were so happy to say, like, hey, thank you so much. Like, I know I didn't win, but you fucking made me go out of my shell to create something, to go out of my city and shoot. Like, I haven't shot in forever, but I entered the contest and this and this and this. There was all these like personal rewards for people. But what I think at the end of the day, it's like, especially in this industry, especially if you're a creator doing video, photo, design, like basically everyone that's in this community that listens to this podcast, you don't understand how doing shit you A, are afraid to do, B, you might not have time to do, C, you don't want to do it. That shit can come around full fucking circle. Facts. If you go work your ass off, give it your all, it doesn't matter if it's like you work at McDonald's drive-thru, you're going to give it your all, and then maybe you'll get promoted, and all in that time you made enough money to support yourself to buy your first camera, or whatever you want to do, put yourself through college, whatever it is. You show initiative, and then everyone will notice, or the right people will notice, and you might not even notice, or you might not even know that they're noticing you. And that's the whole thing. And for me and Dave to be sitting here in this contest and put so much energy into like creating an opportunity for this community, you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole goal. And then to see people take seats from other creators that would kill to have entered this competition, but the way the fucking Facebook algorithm works, they didn't see it in time. And when they went to the website and signed up, it was full. And it's like, fuck, it's full. And yeah, maybe they should have marked their calendar, but again, Facebook is a bitch, and so is every other social platform. So you don't get to see shit exactly when it comes out.
Exactly.
But for all those creators who would have killed to have entered this shit, to have gone ham, to try to show what they're capable of doing. They had a new idea. They had something that they thought could fucking beat everyone else out, or at least leave a mark on who they are. They didn't get to enter because you took up their seat and didn't submit some shit. And some people did it over and over again. And honestly, we were doing so much at one point, I wanted to literally blacklist people that were doing that shit.
And we might have to go through and see if there's like a recurring thing with people.
We will. Like, it's something that makes me so upset, and I understand people have their excuses, but it's like, it's just crazy to me that you would say some shit that you want to do and then not do it and not tell the person. That's like me taking a meeting with someone and having to change because last minute I came up with some shit and I just don't tell them I'm changing my meeting. Do you know how bad that fucking looks for me? Like, if I literally say, oh yeah, you're a person that I would love to meet with, can I have 10 minutes of your time? They said yes. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I fucking sleep in that day.
And they take time out of their day to like show up to the
for
shit.
You.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened in this case. It's like, you said I will be here at that time, and then you didn't show up. Do you know who? That's what's funny is I have a list. I see your fucking name and your email and your address. I know who you are. Right. Like, we know who you are. Do you know who else knows who you are? A $1 billion coffee company that will probably never choose to work with you ever again because you didn't do something on this contest. You just didn't go. You could have at least hit us up in advance and be like, hey, I'm not gonna have time for this. Do you guys want to send this shit to someone else? Or like, I'm so sorry or whatever, but no one did.
And I have respect for the people that do that.
I do too.
Because then it's like, I think you should feel like, it's not like we're trying to shame people, but you should feel bad, right? If someone sent you a mug and you made an agreement, by signing up, you made like a pact, kind of like, I fuck with the vision of this. I fuck with the mission. I want to create something. I want to put myself out there. Thank you for putting this on. Thank you for this opportunity. And then you just just shy up because of, your fear or whatever. You just got busy or you went out or whatever. Like, you should feel bad because that mug sitting there is reminding you that you didn't, that it's just like you flaked on it. You know what I mean?
And it sounds dumb because it's like, it's like a $15 mug. No, but it's not. It's the principle
of the matter.
It's the principle. It's like you signed up for some shit. You know what I mean? And it's not that we're shaming people, but I'm letting people know how this reflects on them. If you do this shit in any, not just a fucking black and cream contest. If you do this in your day to day, whatever you're trying to do, whoever you're trying to become, if you do that type of shit, not just miss a contest, but miss a meeting, don't show up for a job, egg someone on, like, oh yeah, I'll shoot your this and that, I'll shoot your this and that, and then you just keep dragging your feet and you never end up doing it. That reflects on you, your work ethic, and who you are as a creator, and that's why people won't fuck with you. Right now, if I go and put, like, I could literally form a list of people that just didn't submit shit, and if I ever get a DM, if I ever get an email, I could literally cross-check that list and be like, oh, this is that person that fucking slept on that contest 2-3 times in a row, that just didn't do it and just took free shit, and now they were asking me for a favor. Why should I give them an opportunity? Why would I do that? You already showed me you're slack. You're weak. Like, you didn't want to compete. And then the excuse is, oh, well, I had my weekend job and blah, blah, blah. Motherfucker, you had almost 3 weeks. The day that shit shipped, we know when it came to you, and you had 3 weeks. So unless you tell me you're working 3 jobs, 20 hours a day, sleeping 4 hours a night, like, there's no excuse. Everyone comes up with excuses. They think their life's so crazy, but you compare it to the people that you idolize. What are their lives like? Because if my life is not crazy compared to the people I idolize, I'm slacking. I go hard, and I think I go hard, and I work harder than anyone I know in my head. But the people I idolize work harder than me, and I'm not there yet, and I'm going there.
Facts.
So if you think that you are busier than anyone, you know what I mean? Like, you're just creating excuses, your own roadblocks, which is fucking. We all do it to ourselves, but don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Facts.
that shit's crazy.
Yeah, that's preach.
So,
I think can I tie it in, because I want to tie it into that was dope. I'm gonna tie it in though to you're missing opportunities and back to the door metaphor, right? Because I feel like if you spin this in a different light, cool, let's not even talk about contests. Let's just talk about the principle and the idea of, like, if you're sitting there, right, and you're like, how do I get to where I want to go? How do I get my career popping? How do I land clients? All this stuff, right? And back to the idea, here's a door that opened, right? If you're trying to come up, you have to walk through every fucking door that opens in your path. Because
run.
Literally, every door that opens, you have to take it, because you literally don't know if the opportunity you just slept on, or you took 2 days to reply to the email, or you were like, nah, I'll get to that later, or you backed out last minute because you just like didn't feel it. You never know if that job was the one where you met the person who's going to put you on to the big gig, or you made a relationship with someone that's really good, that's going to come back and pay you 3 jobs,
right? Or
whatever it is. Like, these, you can't connect the dots forward. You can only connect the dots going backwards. So it's like, you don't know where the big link's going to come from. You don't know, like we talk about with the 6 degrees of separation, like, you don't know who is the person that's connected to the thing you really want to do.
Right. So
all these doors that open, if you don't have doors opening for you all the time, take the ones that open to you, because you know what I mean? Because that's the only way you can ensure you're going to make it, because I promise you, the more doors you walk through, the more people you meet, the more gigs you land, the more people you impress, the more people know who your name is and see your work.
Right.
All that shit compiles up. And the way I look at it is, you're putting all that energy out, and that's what people talk about manifestation. You could believe it or not. You could think of it as some spiritual shit, but what I believe it is when you're putting all those stones into place and you're taking all those steps, that all comes back through who knows how, but through people talking to other people, through people feeling your energy, through people seeing your work, to you believing in yourself and all that stuff. So when you're sitting there and you're like, man, I don't really know what to do, or like, I don't really know what I should be doing. with this contest and I'm scared or I'm embarrassed, I'm not gonna win. Like, you just turned out, like, who knows if you would have made the illest shit, or if Gavin would have seen yourself and be like, man, that's really tight, we've never seen that before, and then the next day you get an email and that pays your rent for three months.
Bro, the kids that they just hired for literally what the fuck am I thinking? I'm blanking on the word. A project for an upcoming release. I don't know why I can't think. A campaign. Mm-hmm. They hired them to do a campaign, create content for that, paid them tons of money, like a good check to go ham and be creative. They're college kids that just like literally collabed on contests, got second place. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Denver kids. But like, you lost the contest, but you won. Because you won. You went on and got paid, and you'll get paid again as long as you keep crushing the shit and level up and go hard and do the notes they asked for and blah, 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 and go hard. But you just got to have creative control and create some shit out of, you didn't have that client before, and you entered, like, we gave that to you. Right. That's what this did. That's Facts. What this community did. And that's what makes me laugh all the time, because it's like, man, there's so many people out here that don't understand.
I feel like that's a great point. Like, and obviously it's set up like there's a winner, right? Because that's the incentive. And, you know, there is someone that wins, because that's what make a competition fun. There has to be like, you know, we have to compare or whatever. Right. But the win is putting out a tight video, like
or a photo,
whatever it is. But yeah, if we do a design contest, whatever it is, creating something that's you're really proud of, and you wouldn't have created unless this contest existed. And now you were able to send that piece of work to someone who has the potential to pay you, right? And that's it. At the end of the day, only one person can win, but we would pick 3 people to win. Honestly, it's impossible to pick the winner sometimes, because I like all of them. They all should win. Yeah. And then in a sense they all do, because you landed, you before you didn't know this person, and now there's someone in your email who knows who you are, who thinks you're talented, who a year down the road will be like, you know what, we need this person. And the more people that you have in your contact list, or have you in their contact list, who think like, oh, you know what, that person's tight and he's good for this job. That's how you build a career in this shit, I feel like. Yeah, absolutely. The more people who think of your name, that your name pops in their head when they need something, you got to build those, as many of those people as possible, because that's how the jobs just continue to come in a way. If you're doing freelance, we talked about this earlier, but like, if you're doing freelance, the way the jobs continue to come. Or even in a company, bro. Yeah. Even in a company, you want to get promoted, you want to get fucking leveled up, you want to go up. Like, you have to show your value. Right. You have to take every opportunity you see as a way to show your strengths. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point of all this shit, is literally show your strengths. If someone's asking, man, I need to do this video, or I want to create a short film and I just don't have enough crew, offer yourself, because you never know what's going to happen to the person that's directing that short film. What if they turn into the next GOAT? You know what I mean? Yeah. And you fucking were like, oh shit. Like, and they're like, yo, you did that shit for me for free that time. This time I got a budget. I'm going to pay you this time. I appreciate that, blah, 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 blah. And you go up and you never know where your life can go. Facts. You never know where your life can go. And that's why you should. Also, I just want to mention this too, while we're at it, before we end, is also people that submit content for the contest that they know, like people that are competing in a contest where they're like, this isn't even a hobby of theirs. There's a couple submissions where we were watching like, these motherfuckers they don't make videos. Right. You don't even make videos or shoot photography. Like, they would literally just took the contest, took a couple photos of someone wearing a shirt up against a wall and submitted that shit. Like, there was no story arc. There was nothing that we were literally asking for. It was just, and again, that shit frustrated me when I would see videos that were just like, someone made videos where they weren't even using any of the content, like any of the shit that got delivered. They didn't even have a mug in their video. They would literally just have like a montage of random ass clips. And we're sitting there for hours watching hundreds, of submissions with at least a minute long, and we're watching them. You watch them over and over again. You know how many people make the same shit, or they have the same ideas, so you gotta go comb through those and find the good ones. We're leaving scores. We're trying to be thoughtful, and then all of a sudden you get a couple that waste your time. They waste not only our time, which I believe my time is valuable. Dave's time is valuable when we're trying to do some shit here and help people out, but a major company, and you're wasting their time. So it's one thing to not submit. It's a second thing to just submit for the sake of getting some free shit, which shout out to you. The hustle's real. I get it. But like, at the same time, respect the fact that there's people that would kill for that space, and you took it and just abused it. And that shit's, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm sure it happens in every contest or whatever. And I'm not talking about people that are just like beginning creators that just aren't good enough, like just starting out, because I did that shit. I entered those contests. I wasn't great. I thought my shit was fire. I'm not talking about you. I know I can tell someone that's just starting to learn and
wants to be a part of this but doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, to a person that literally doesn't care and it just submits shit just to submit shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I don't know. I just wanted to say that shit. But I just think everyone should always, at the end of the day, consider everything an opportunity. Run through every fucking door there is. I think in every conversation I've ever told someone about my come up, I say I got to LA and a door opened to me and I ran through that motherfucker and I didn't stop running. I say that to every person I tell my story to, because that's the fucking truth. It wasn't even open. It was cracked open.
Right.
I was just like, bah, crowbarred the bitch.
Right.
Gah, crowbarred another one.
Right.
Ah, bazooka that shit and just keep going like, ah.
Yeah, you also the doors when you open, you just like go knock on them. You start talking to people. I do this. I do this.
Yes,
yeah.
Facts. And that's the only way. And you know what? Sometimes I didn't even get to knock. I had to like find a back alley way of showing them what I did.
Right.
Hey, check this out. And I'll show them in the middle of shooting a music video. I just happen to have the thing on my phone and be like, hey, check out something. We could do this in your video that we're doing right now.
Right.
And they're like, oh shit, this is hard. We can do this right now. Yep. I have the drone over here. Or I have my gimbal over here. I could do this right now. I could edit it like that, whatever. And they'd be like, okay, this is cool. And next thing you know, I'm fucking got videos that are playing and
right.
You know what I mean? Like I got stuff that's in these massive music videos. They're getting millions of views and I didn't stand that chance. And I didn't do it in an abrasive way. I did it because I knew it could add value. And if they said no, it's all good. But at least I shot my shot and I put my stuff out there and I showed stuff that I thought could help them. I didn't ask for a check. I didn't ask for a fucking credit. I didn't ask, you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? And I think this is an awesome topic. It's something I struggle with, right? Because I sit here and I always watch you when we go places. And this is a whole different topic, but I think it goes to the topic of the missing opportunities, because there are opportunities that are there in front of you, right? Mm-hmm. But if you just sit there idle, those things don't, like, someone doesn't walk up to you and hand you a job. You have to make it happen, right? So it's like there are people in the rooms that you're in that can do things for you, that you can do things for, right? There's potential business. There's and you have to, like, you can't sit around and just hope. I want to be a full-time creator, right? And you just hope that opportunity just comes to you one day.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean, bro? Like,
right.
What the fuck? Yeah, I have to. Yeah, agreed.
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
To be able to fight for your shit.
You have to go and make the things happen. So if you're sitting there, and let's try to tie back into the contest, but if you're sitting there and you're just like, I wish I could shoot a festival one day. You know what I mean? How do I get
mission?
Yeah. How do I get a media pass? People see people pass all the time. You know, how do you get a media pass to a festival?
Hey guys, I'm a photographer and I would love to shoot a concert. And then we're like, hey guys, we have a contest and the winner of that gets paid. I just burped, sorry. Gets paid $1,000 and flown round trip to a fucking massive concert.
It's a massive festival where all these massive artists are playing.
Oops.
And guess what? And I'm going to talk about the hustle, because people don't even see the value of this. Oh yeah, you go to the festival, but like, how do you shoot or whatever? Like, if I was the winner of this contest and I got flown to Life is Beautiful, I would hit up every single artist on the lineup, all the way to the bottom fucking name.
The 1 p.m. starter shows, like, who gives a shit?
Because you could go there and shoot for Dutch Bros and triple up at the same rate.
Right.
And like, that's how you got to be thinking, I feel like.
I agree. All right. That's good. We fulfilled our 30 minutes. I think that we hit that benchmark. This was good. Hopefully you don't think I'm a fucking asshole for what I'm saying. Hopefully this can open up your eyes. Hopefully if you're a creator considering a contest in the future, you understand that how it affects and is viewed. I'm just staring at this fucking bug.
We both locked on.
We just both want to kill this bug, bro. Anyway, hopefully it helps you. And I want to get to question of the day. Yeah, question of the day from our Patreon members. Shout out to also Dave mentioned the 6 Degrees of Separation episode that we did. That's a Patreon only podcast, or Morning Roast podcast that we do. We do one every month. So if you want that, it's available on Patreon. And if you also want to ask a question for question of the day, it'll be on Patreon. So definitely get on there and hop on Discord. That's dope. Patreon.com/BlackWindowCream. What's the question?
So RMT Shoots asks, yo, I'm going to read his whole setup.
Okay.
He said, yo, when would you send a daily rate for editing versus an hourly rate? Reason I ask is that for some corporate clients, the play is to get back-end money by additional edits. $150 per hour versus $500 per day makes a difference in that regard. And then you told him, you know, you try to go daily, and he's like, always? Do you just flex and throw it at $1,200 day rate for editing? He's basically like saying, he's putting in like, do you get more money which way?
Right. I personally think, especially, I don't know his case, and I also told him that I was like, I don't know who your clients are and what your normal typical value of rate is in your area or whatever, but understanding the job, what the job entails, the amount of work that will go into it, how many days it will take, will determine if I was going to tell them, oh, my rate to do this is this much per day, or my rate to do this is this much per hour. I've steered clear from hourly rates because most jobs always bake in just a flat day rate. That's usually what people are budgeting for. They understand that the typical day is like 8 hours to 12 hours, so they'll put a budget in for that day. And when it comes to a project, especially with corporate clients, I think you have more wiggle room, but you should also just kind of vary. We talk about this shit in our How to Charge a Client guide all the time too. So there's a bunch of different theories on how you could approach this, but in that case, it's like, well, you never know, because how many hours are you going to have to technically spend? Because you might only have to spend 20, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or 10, but they're willing to pay you for 6 days worth of editing. So if you're able to say like, oh, my day rate is $1,000, you just got $6K. Whereas if you said, oh, my day rate's $100 per hour, then you only got like $2K. You know what I mean? So you have to decide like, how is it going to play in your advantage to quote the client and what they're willing to pay. Also do the research on who you're talking to and if they even have the money for you to stretch yourself a little bit. But it's interesting. You just have to kind of like, you know, prepare to take the hit or to stretch out a certain amount of hours that you might work or whatever. I would always say, oh, I'm $20 an hour when I first started. And I'd be like, today I worked like 5 hours, but I'm going to say 7 because A, they don't know. B, I'm already undercharging myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and technically like they may ask for some revisions that I don't charge them for later or whatever, you know what I mean? But it was like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So then I realized, oh, cool. I could actually have said I charge $600 a day and I would have made way more money. Facts. You know what I mean?
I had an experience with this and I told you about it afterwards. I had a client and they approached me for an edit. And it was going to be like, it ideally should be a quick edit, right? But knowing the client, they always have a million revisions. And you know that it's going to take a long time, right?
Right.
But initially they propose an hourly rate, right? And I go against it and say, no, in my head, I'm thinking I need to lock in this day rate because I'm not going to make enough for me to take the job if I'm doing an hourly rate because then I'm just going to be on the clock, right? Versus, and it's not going to entail like, I know that it's going to take all these revisions and it's going to be longer than I initially anticipate, right? But a day rate covers that wiggle room where I don't know what it's going to be, right? And then it's like, let's say the next day they want some revisions and that's only going to take like 2 or 3 hours to do revisions. And I was talking to you and I was like, and you were telling me like, no, you should, like every time you hit the clock and if it's a day rate, like you're on the clock for them that entire day.
Yeah.
And also it locks in that entire rate for you versus like trying to finagle a couple hours.
Well, and the main reason for that is because if you have to work 3 hours for them, they may have just cock blocked you from fucking having a solid 8-hour day for someone else. Oh, hey, can you edit today? Sorry, I have another client. And then all of a sudden you're done with that client by 11 a.m. And you're like, fuck. And you hit them up like, hey, no, I actually have the rest of the day. You need me? No, sorry, I booked someone else. You just lost a day rate for that.
And on the reverse, it's like, on the reverse, if you're on another client and then the client that hits you for the hourly is like, hey, can you make this real quick? And you're like, no, I actually can't be at my computer right now because we're working on this. Like you can't do both. And that's opportunity cost we talk about in the guide. It's like your day rate, the reason why day rate's cool is because your day rate, it not only pays you for your work, but it also pays you for the work that you lose by not being able to work for someone else. Right. So you have to think about it as your day is like, has a value on top of it. Totally. And if you're spending some of it, obviously it's not that case in freelance, so we can have wiggle room, but in a perfect, efficient world, every single day you have the opportunity to make a certain amount of money for someone who needs you. And if you can't do some of that, like someone has to pay you for that.
Facts. All right, cool. That was good. So if you guys like this question of the day, let us know in the comments. We're going to have in our Discord, we'll actually have a question of the day. What the fuck's it called? Category where you can talk in the forums. So just get on Discord and you can throw your questions in there. We'll just pick out random what we think works for that morning roast and we'll knock them out. So if you like them, let us know. That'd be dope. If you want to ask a question for next Wednesday, patreon.com/blackwindowcream. If not that Wednesday, I think we're recording 2 tomorrow. So if you don't put it in there until you have till tomorrow at like noon. That was cool. So let's read. These are the 2 reviews. So shout out to everyone that's leaving us reviews. I'll start with the YouTube channel. Nick Connor Images. He said, yo, crazy thing about this topic. He's referring to the morning roast that I think we did last week, episode 109. It's called Dealing with Client Approvals. He said, yo, crazy thing about this topic is I'm currently in this situation. Haven't asked if I can share content. Haven't shared any. Just doing the work and building the relationships, but sponging up the info given in this episode. I now know I'm moving correctly. And if I want to share, ask, and live with whatever the response may be, but just keep working until you earn that right. He's basically regarding like the idea of if you haven't listened to the episodes, just when should you share content versus waiting or asking a client if it's okay. Some people share without asking, and it kind of fucks up the relationship. But he says, thanks fellas, solid content, information, blessings. So Nick, Connor, please shoot us a message on Instagram, just DM Black with No Cream, and we'll make sure to send you some stickers, send us your address. Also, if you're listening to this and you want to leave a review right now, when you do, drop your Instagram handle in your reviews, so that way we at least know like how to reach out to you if you don't hear this or whatever. But on iTunes, we had a 5-star review, shout out. It says, most underrated podcast from Tamara, TMRA is the handle. It says, hey man, just want to say thanks for giving us creators an inside scoop we've always wanted. You've motivated me in many different ways, because with each podcast comes a new perspective, and it blows my mind. It's awesome. You're not just radio hosts, but you're actually talking to guys and girls that actually matter. I feel that I've been so quick to give up on stuff because of how difficult it would be to make it happen. But pretty much every dope photographer slept in the car at one point just to sneak into a show for an opportunity. Hearing the struggles of people who work with artists and other people of status really gives me closure and confidence. This podcast reassures the fact that we all start from somewhere. I've had challenging moments myself, and I wanted to give up, but I know the road I chose isn't always going to be easy. That's facts. Anyways, keep up the good work. Love is cool. I don't know your name, but definitely if you're hearing this, please shoot us a DM as well. So shout out to everyone that's leaving those reviews. Again, that's helping new people that are finding this podcast. You know, it's giving them a reason to listen. Whenever you go to a fucking restaurant and you look up on Google if the shit's going to be flame, and you see a couple 5-star reviews and a shit ton of 1 stars, you ain't going there.
Right.
But if you see a bunch of banger ass reviews, you pulling up.
Facts.
So do that shit for the Black with No Cream boys. All right, cool. Thank you for listening to this week's episode or whatever. That's all we got for you. How to Charge a Client guide is on our website, shopbwnc.com. You can get it there or on Patreon. And that's it. We'll see you guys on this Sunday. With who's on this Sunday?
I think Cash Bunny.
Cash Bunny. Woo! Yeah, new episode of Cash Bunny coming this Sunday. You heard. All right, bye.